The reservation was under my brother's name. The flowers were picked because he liked roses. The message that confirmed the date wasn't even sent from my phone. I was just the substitute, the understudy in someone else's romantic script. But life doesn't always follow scripts, and that night proved it. Started with a phone call. "Bro, I messed up," my younger brother Ayan said, panic bleeding into his voice. "I double-booked. I completely forgot about this blind date Mom set up. She's the daughter of her friend. I can't cancel, Mom will kill me. Can you just show up? Tell her I got stuck at work or something. Just buy me time." I should have said no. I'm a 34-year-old single dad with permanent dark circles under my eyes and a 5-year-old daughter who thinks I'm her superhero because I can make dinosaur-shaped pancakes. I don't have time for blind dates. I don't have the emotional energy for awkward conversations over overpriced pasta. But Ayan sounded desperate. And maybe, if I'm honest, I needed a break from the quiet loneliness that settles in after my daughter, Alina, falls asleep. So I said yes. I dropped Alina at my neighbor's house and drove to the restaurant. It was one of those dimly lit places where everything feels like a secret. The kind of place couples go to celebrate anniversaries. The kind of place where I didn't belong. She was already there, sitting by the window, simple black dress. No flashy jewelry. Hair tied loosely as if she hadn't tried too hard, which somehow made her more captivating. She wasn't scrolling on her phone like most people waiting alone. She was just watching the rain outside. When I approached the table and said my brother's name, she smiled politely. "You don't look like your photos," she said gently. I froze, because of course I didn't. I took a breath. "That's because I'm not him." Her eyebrow lifted slightly. Not annoyed, not amused, just curious. My brother had an emergency. I came to explain and apologize in person. "If you'd like to leave, I completely understand." There was a pause, a long one. Instead of getting angry, she leaned back slightly and studied me. "So you're the responsible one?" I laughed awkwardly. "I guess you could say that." She extended her hand. "I'm Zara." And just like that, I sat down. I don't know what possessed her to stay. Maybe curiosity. Maybe fate. Maybe she was tired of perfect plans too. We started talking. At first, it was surface-level work, family, harmless stories. But then she asked, "What do you do?" "I'm a full-time dad," I replied before I could stop myself. That made her smile, a real smile this time. "And part-time?" she asked. "Architect." Her eyes lit up. "That's impressive." I shrugged. Being a dad is harder. That's when something shifted. Most people change their expression when they hear single dad. There's a flicker, calculation, hesitation, concern. But Zara didn't flinch. "How old?" she asked softly. 5. Her name's Alina. "And where's her mom?" There it was. The question most people tiptoe around. "She passed away 3 years ago." Silence settled between us. Not uncomfortable, but heavy. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I nodded. "Me too." For a moment, neither of us spoke. The rain outside intensified, tapping against the glass like it wanted to be part of the conversation. Then she asked something no one had ever asked me before. "Do you ever feel guilty when you laugh?" I blinked. "What?" "When something makes you genuinely happy, do you ever feel guilty for enjoying it?" My chest tightened. Because yes, every time I smile too long, every time I think about maybe moving on, every time someone tells me I deserve happiness, feels like betrayal. I looked at her carefully. "Why would you ask that?" She stared at the tablecloth. "Because my fiancé died 2 years ago." The world seemed to tilt. "So I understand that silence you carry," she continued. "That weight." We weren't two strangers on a blind date anymore. We were two survivors sitting across from each other. That's when she asked the question that changed everything. If your daughter sees you lonely for the rest of your life, what will she learn about love? It felt like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart. I had never thought about it like that. I convinced myself that staying alone was loyalty, that burying my own happiness was respect, that love meant permanent sacrifice. But what if I was teaching my daughter that love ends with loss? What if I was teaching her that grief is stronger than hope? I couldn't answer. Zara didn't push. She just said softly, "Children don't learn from what we say. They learn from what we live." Dinner ended quietly. No dramatic declarations. No romantic music. Just two people who understood something unspoken. When we stepped outside, the rain had stopped. The air smelled fresh, like the world had been washed clean. "I'm glad your brother canceled," she said. I smiled. Me too. And for the first time in 3 years, I didn't feel guilty for smiling. The question that rebuilt me. The next morning, Alina noticed something immediately. "Daddy," she said while spooning cereal into her mouth, "why are you smiling at nothing?" I hadn't realized I was. "I'm just thinking," I told her. "About dinosaurs? About life." She squinted suspiciously. "That's boring." I laughed, a real laugh, and this time I didn't feel that familiar stab of guilt. Zara's question echoed in my mind all day. What will your daughter learn about love? I had been surviving, not living, existing, not growing. That evening, I did something unexpected. I called her. "I owe you dinner," I said when she answered. "You already had dinner with me," she replied playfully. "This time as myself." There was a pause. "I'd like that." Our second meeting wasn't a replacement date. It was intentional. We talked about parenting fears, about sleepless nights, about how grief ambushes you in grocery stores and empty closets, about how people expect you to move on as if love was a train schedule. And slowly, something fragile began to form. Not a whirlwind romance, not fireworks, but understanding. Weeks turned into months. She met Alina. I was terrified. But Zara didn't try to replace anyone. She didn't overstep. She simply knelt down and said, "Your dad says you make the best dinosaur pancakes. I need proof." Alina adored her instantly. One night, after putting Alina to bed, I turned to Zara and said, "I was afraid to open my heart again." She took my hand. "You're not replacing love," she said. "You're expanding it." And in that moment, I realized something powerful. Love isn't a limited resource. It doesn't erase what came before. It builds on it. Months later, as I tucked Alina in, she asked, "Daddy, are you happy?" The question startled me. I thought carefully. "Yes," I said. She smiled sleepily. "Good. Mommy would like that." I stepped out of her room with tears in my eyes. Not from pain, but from peace. Zara's quiet question on that rainy night didn't just change my perspective. It rebuilt my future. Because sometimes, you don't take someone else's place. You find your own. And if this story touched your heart, if you believe in second chances, healing, and the quiet strength of single parents, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Red Heart. There are more powerful stories waiting for you. Stories about love after loss, courage after heartbreak, and hope when everything feels broken. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and be part of a community that believes every ending can become a new beginning. Because sometimes, all it takes is one quiet question to change your life.